Hello everyone, welcome to Sleepy Notes Club. I hope you're all doing well. So as you can probably see, today's setting is a little different. We are tucked away in a cozy hotel room. My husband and I love marking special occasions by booking a quiet stay, and since tomorrow is his birthday, we are celebrating early. So I thought this will be the perfect time for me to show you one of the journals that I haven't actually shown in depth. I'm gonna give you a little flip through of my reading journal, which is this baby here. I've been hosting my reading journal in my Hobonichi Weeks Mega. This is the one. This is actually a cover, by the way. I get a lot of comments about this, and yeah, it was the blue, you know, the kind of like normal blue Weeks Mega. I of course wanted to decorate the cover, so I just used like a normal like colored paper, which I don't know if you can see, but it is not white, it is like creamy beige, kind of creamy yellow, which is one of my favorite colors. And I also decorated it on this side. Here I just added like a scrapbooking piece of a magazine, or it was a JCPenney catalog, and I also used some washi on the side, and this is also part of my collection. I can't remember where I got it, and as you can see, it is a very chunky. I was hosting my other reading journal before this one in a Stalogy notebook, but I really wanted to try and fall in love with the Hobonichi Weeks, as you know. And if you watch my channel, I've tried to get into the weeks for a very long time and I always fail. So this one I think is the first one that has actually clicked with me, and I'm very happy that I have it. I figured out a way and a system to mark what I want to do, what I want to read, what is important to me, and also, as always, I always try to add and incorporate scrapbooking into my journaling. So all of these you will see present in this reading journal. So without further ado, let's get this flip through going. I hope you guys enjoy. Let me show you first the cover. I do receive a lot of questions about this one. This one is actually unbranded. I bought it on Vinted like a couple years ago, and there's no brand, sadly. When I bought it, it was already very much loved. There were a lot of marks and life in it, so I fell in love immediately. So yeah, now is hosting this very loved as well journal, because I have been very much enjoying reading this past couple years. I actually struggled to get into it, but then I started a reading journal, and I think that's the reason why I'm now very consistent. So in the back, as you can see, I always have more stickers, my star stickers that I bought on Amazon, more post-it notes just in case. I always keep that at the back, because one of my worst fears is being out and then not having my supplies. And on this side, I keep one of this. This is just like a pocket insert pocket from my Filofax, and I cut it to size to kind of like fit in here. Here is where I keep the covers that I print, so I always have this little pocket here, and obviously more stickers on the side. You can never have too many stickers. And I am using, by the way, this is revolutionary for me at least, this is the pen I'm using with this journal. I've always had troubles falling in love with the Weeks because of the paper. I know people love the paper, but I'm not a big fountain pen user. I just like normal gel pens or like rollerball pens. So sometimes the gel pens specifically, they bleed a lot, and that sometimes I like that, but there's points like when it's super noticeable that I don't enjoy that. So I found that this one, which is, it makes sense, it is the Hobonichi Techo 2026 pen. I think this came as a gift actually at one point, and I absolutely love it. It's so thin. I think it may be a 0.3 or something. And it is a uniball, I can tell here. So this one doesn't bleed as much, and I'm really loving this one for this specifically. I didn't notice that all of this fell, so I'm just gonna put them here on the side. As always, I have a picture of my dad here and some more of my stickers, and this was supposed to be my media journal because I do write down when I watch a specific series like TV show or something, but I am not someone that watches a lot of TV. Enough for me to journal about it, so sometimes I do. So I actually titled it my media journal, but to be honest, it's my reading journal because I've only watched like 2 series in the last, I don't know, year or two. So yeah, anyway, media journal / reading journal. This is a little message that my husband wrote. I just think it's really sweet to have the presence of your loved ones in all your planners. It really motivates me to write in them and to use them. So we go on to the monthly section. I did cut, by the way, here is supposed to be, or was supposed to be, the trackers that come with the Hobonichi, but I cut those because I don't really need them. So I just kind of like cut them out, and I now have them in another journal. I can't remember which one. So I'm just gonna flip through my months. I started reading a lot this year. So this is January 2026, and as you can see, it is quite messy. Very minimal, very simple, kind of back to the basics. I just wanted to make this journal specifically because this is 2 hobbies in one, and 2 routines that require some sort of like commitment, which is journaling or recording one of your hobbies, which is reading, and reading as well. So if I made this mega pretty with a lot of stickers and all these things like I do sometimes to my other journals or my planner, I know I will fall out of the loop because it will be too much effort, and I tried to do that the last couple of years, and then my reading was affected. So this has worked very well, just being very minimal and simple, and just making it a point to record anything that comes into my mind when I read. And so my reading has actually been really great because I'm just going for it and there's no expectations. So yeah, I think this journal is actually helping me a lot to get my reading goals going. So yeah, this is what I do in my like monthly section. I just write a little bit of the book I'm reading. I also sometimes like to track the books I read on the month. When I start a new book, my feelings. I was reading the Stormlight Archive in here, so The Way of Kings, and obviously I fell in love with one of the characters, so I just like to add a couple things here and there, some stickers, but it's just very, very simple. And I did start to mark the days that I actually read like this, but I didn't continue that just because, again, that makes me feel bad sometimes if I see that I haven't marked a lot of days, and again, that is unnecessary pressure in my mind. This should be very enjoyable, so I don't think I continue that anyway. This is February and I read 11 days, and I do use an app called Fable. I absolutely love it. I use that app to track, well, my reading streak, the genres that I like to read, just read reviews and stuff like that. I still use Goodreads though for like when I need to decide on a book. I just really like the interface, and I've been a Goodreads user for a very long time, so I actually quite like it. But I do use Fable to keep track of everything, especially of my reading streak, so I can also take a bit of pressure off of this one, you know. So yeah, I was still reading The Way of Kings. It was a very long book, and then I started Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, and just a couple of like comments here and there. And sometimes I also write the books I want to read in the future here, just to have everything in one place. This was March. I read 4 books, which was pretty cool, and I read 24 days. Wow, that is my birthday month, and I think I was just chilling to the max, and I was not even journaling a lot. I was just reading and reading. So yeah, I started reading Project Hail Mary, and then I finished reading it in like a couple days, and I gave it a 5 stars, of course, and I fell in love with Rocky. If you haven't read the book, definitely read it. Don't be scared that it's sci-fi. I'm not a sci-fi fan, but I fell in love with it, and I wanted to read it before the movie came out, and I also watched the movie. Spoiler alert, is fantastic. I think the movie is probably my favorite movie of all time. Just that's how good it was. And I'm really picky because I don't really watch a lot of TV, I just watch YouTube, so that's a great movie. And then after that, I read Remarkably Bright Creatures, and I was kind of disappointed, I'm gonna be really honest. I loved the setting and Marcellus as well, but the ending and it's just the characters I didn't love. But still, I gave it, I think, 3 stars. And by the way, there's also a movie based on the book, Remarkably Bright Creatures, on Netflix. It came out like a couple weeks ago, and that one I definitely recommend. I think they did even better than the book, in my humble opinion.
Hello everyone! Welcome to Sleepy Notes.
Enjoy. All right, that was my husband coming out and getting some wine. We're really chilling today. I love this. Anyway, yeah, so I finished Remarkably Bright Creatures, and then I started Piranesi. I don't know how to pronounce that, but that book is 5 out of 5. I was completely hooked since day one. And yeah, I was just really, really loving that. I actually finished that as well in like 4 or 5 days. And then after that, I started The Other Bennett Sister, which I loved. And the reason why I also wanted to read that book is because the BBC came out with a series as well. And again, I 100% recommend that. It's so good. That may be one of my favorite series of all time as well. It's like Pride and Prejudice inspired, based on this book, which is based on the other sister, Mary, which is the sister that loves books and is a bit misunderstood. So it's just really nice, and I love the cast. So also recommend, but I also recommend reading the book. It's really, really nice. It does have that Pride and Prejudice-y vibe, but it is kind of faster to read. So it was really nice. Very quotable, of course. And then we go on to May. Here I was also still reading The Other Bennett Sister, but that was because I was feeling really sick and I was going in and out of the doctor during May, so there wasn't a lot of time to read really. I just wanted to like sleep. And also you can see the decoration really was very low effort. I'm using this bookmark. I think this is Romeo and Juliet, and I got this from Amazon. I'm sure I can find the link and put it down below. And yeah, this is June, so even more minimal. Just I'm not playing with the inks this time or anything. Finished reading The Other Bennett Sister on the 7th, and so after that I was just really feeling like I wanted to read something Spanish. That is my first language, and so I started reading Ficciones by Jorge Luis Borges, and it's actually really good. I rated 4 out of 5, but if you ask me to give you a summary of what it was, I don't think I can. It's just very weird, but you can't stop reading. And then now I am reading Seeking Persephone. Is that how you call it? I'm actually quite liking it. I just started. I've read like 2 chapters, but it sounds pretty good. I kind of wanted something like old school historical romance, so that's what I'm doing. The weekly pages are not like my priority, but when I have a good week of reading, then this is what you will see. Just comments here, usually saying that I'm having fun or that it's a bit boring, or I don't know, whatever comments I have. And here I usually add some goals sometimes, but if not, I would just record a favorite quote. Here on April, I was reading The Other Bennett Sister, so I had some comments here, some quotes. And then May as well, when I start a new chapter section in the book, some more quotes and stuff. Sometimes I do add some decoration like this one, which I really like, and I thought it was very perfect for the book I was reading, the Pride and Prejudice one. And then sometimes I don't do lots of things. This is June, which is the month I'm in now, and I was reading the Jorge Luis Borges book and being really confused but loving it at the same time. And this is the week I'm in. I'm filming this on the 28th. Just very, very simple. Like I said, that is not really my priority. And then we go on to the other pages in the mega. So the first thing is this one. I may actually fill all the days that I read at the end of the year. I don't stress about this one as well because I, like I said, keep all the proper tracking in my Fable. So every time I finish a chapter, I log into the app and then I really quickly check that I read that day. So it's really easy for me to keep track of that. So maybe at the end of the year, when I change this notebook, I will come back and just color all the days that I did read. And as you can see, I love adding scrapbooking pieces everywhere. This was from the JCPenney 1994 catalog that my mom kept for the longest time and I destroyed, but for a good reason, because now it's living in all my notebooks. I just thought it was like cozy because I mean, it's like a reading journal, so books, cozy vibes and stuff. Same here, because I do like to read on my bed a lot. Some more bits from the Choosing Keeping invoice collection that I got as well. I just love how you can pair this and change, like play with the textures of the pages, because this is a bit see-through. So I like adding this just to make it more interesting. And this is probably the one that I care the most. This page is my reading log, and this is where I record what books I read. For example, this is 2025 because I didn't want to forget the books that I read, because all the other book reading journals that I kept haven't really like stayed with me properly. This is the first one, so I just wanted to remind myself of the ones I read in 2025, and then this is starting 2026. And then I also record, well, the number of books I read during the year, the name, the author, the start, so the date I started and then I finished, and also the rating of the book. And I've had some good 5-star books. So yeah, like I said, The Way of Kings first, then Assassin's Apprentice, then Project Hail Mary, Remarkably Bright Creatures, The Other Bennett Sister, and Ficciones. And I do color codes. Yeah, here you go. So this is my inbox and here's the color codes. And I'm using the Crayola Super Tips to kind of like categorize everything. And I have romance, classics, fantasy, fiction, non-fiction, children's literature, because I do like to read that a lot, and science fiction and young adult. So these are the main ones that I read, and as you can see, the fantasy is the one that I like the most, and then closely followed by romance. Yeah, romance, and I think after that it's just like same fiction and stuff, classics sometimes. So yeah, that is my reading log, and here is on the other side. If I ever complete that many books, I don't think so, but who knows. Some more cozy vibes here. I do like to record sometimes when there's like a life lesson or something is relatable and there's some notes. And if I underline something that is like my point of view, so something like a comment that I added about it. So this is my to be read, and these are also all color coded here. These are my 5-star reads as well, which I still need to print more and kind of like go through them and paste them here, the covers. I do absolutely love The Raven Scholar. Wow, that was a great book. The Hobbit, of course, Assassin's Apprentice, and the others that I will probably paste at some point. And this is when my reading journal starts, and as you can see, I just like to always scrapbook with it. I just like to put something visual about the book and write about it. Mostly it's just quotes that I like to collect, but sometimes, like I said, if it's underlined, that is my like comments or my thoughts. But everything else that is not underlined is just like quotes. I did journal a little bit about the books that I read in 2025. Where were we? Oh yeah, so Anna Green Gables, Little Text. I love this because even in my reading journal, I can still use scrapbooking, which is my main passion. Sometimes like to paste post-it notes like this. This was the packaging from the Kindle that I got, the Kindle Color Soft. This was The Hobbit. I do like to use this, I don't know if it's masking tape or whatever, this one, you know, I really love that for my titles. This was a children's book that I also destroyed, but I just really love the imagery. Again, I love how that looks. So that was The Hobbit, some quotes. This is where I started reading Mistborn, and I did read the whole 3 books, so one after the other. This was The Final Empire. I gave that 4 stars, I remember. It was pretty good, quite long, but pretty good. So just some more comments. I love taking some time after I read to not only write about it and look back at my favorite quotes, but also create things like this. It makes me look at all the hoarding pieces of paper that I have in my scrapbook collection and use them. But it also, apart from writing my quotes and sometimes thoughts, it also makes me like feel like I'm reading the book again, you know what I mean? Like I'm kind of revisiting the book again and again. So that's a really nice feeling. This was The Will of the Many, which I didn't enjoy as much as I thought. It was very well, I don't know if I was overhyped. I think it's a good book, but it just didn't click with me either. So I didn't love it. I think I rated it 3 stars. The Raven Scholar, one of my favorite books of the year for sure. I think that's, yeah, I think it may be one of my top 3. I love that. And these stickers are from the Dorian sticker book, which I love. I also like that I can use all my stickers here. I feel like only in journals that are really important to me, I'll be willing to use my star stickers. I was having a lot of fun with this book, as you can see, and this is 2026, and this is where we start with The Way of Kings, and I had a lot of fun with this one. I keep a lot of like, well, that kind of imagery. I just have a lot in my collection. I started to do a little bit more of like using my color pencils and stuff. This was also part of the Dorian sticker book, and I use this as well with the tracing paper. I just love using that. I loved Project Hail Mary, the book as well. So this is probably the only book I'll be willing to use all these stickers as well. This is very low maintenance for me. Sometimes I do feel like I want to be more creative. Sometimes I just paste things here and there. This was when I started to read Piranesi. And I think if you've read it, you know this kind of makes sense with the house. More of this tape. I just love playing with textures. Like I said before, I just really enjoy that. And yeah, this is when I started The Other Bennett Sister. Love that book. And this is when I started to read Ficciones, which is very difficult because it's a collection of stories, so I didn't know what to kind of use, but I think this kind of goes. More of the tracing paper and stickers, and that was the last book. So basically when I start a new book, I just record it in my monthly calendar, and I do check in every day when I read, and I write something here. If it's important enough, then I will probably use my weekly. If not, it's fine. And then I will also record it in my reading log here, of course, also at the end when I finish it. And I will do this. I will spend my time usually just creating a collage and creating some pages talking about that specific book. And it's just a really nice, I think, and it's been a very healthy routine that I'm loving, because it's letting me decompress when I get into this, and doing this is just very much enjoyable. So yeah, basically that is my reading journal. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what else you want to see from me, and I will see you guys very soon.